Hello and welcome. This is Natalie Parkinson Duplay offering a shoulder and upper back mobility video for everyone to try at home. We're going to get that heart rate up and get those shoulders moving. So this is the follow along with me video, so you can keep moving with me in real time. This one is a lunge, reaching our fingertips to our feet, just trying to warm up that upper back area as well as our shoulders. By lunging side to side, we're targeting our big muscle groups and getting our whole body moving to get it warmed up. So we're just getting some lengthening exercises in here for our neck and our upper back. We're trying to make sure that we are lifting up and over and then pulling down gently to stretch out the sides of our neck and the back of our neck. Now we have some single arm circles on each side, going backwards and forwards. And other side. Now we're going to do this wavy, twisty, hairbrushy thing. You bring your arm to the front of your face, wrap it around your hair, and then out to the back. I tried to slow it down on this one for you, but it's just a funky arm movement to get the shoulder going into a different rotation. Some arm swings back and forth, and then clapping forward and back, rotating our hands, our palms together as we go forward and back. And then give it a shake. We have our shoulder shrugs and then some shoulder circles. When you're doing the circles, try to keep your ribs in. Try to notice if you're popping them out. You want to isolate these movements just for your shoulders. Now I'm going to pull out my foam roller. If you don't have a foam roller, then you can use a ball, which is later on if you fast forward a couple minutes. But the roller is basically just being placed on my back, and I'm going to roll all the way up from my upper back all the way to my lower back. I find this is a nice way to elongate through the spine and to remove some tension. I like to move my way all the way through and hit some spots that feel like they're a little extra tight and spend a little bit more time on those areas, especially in my middle back. Now I'm placing the peanut in the middle of my back and in my upper shoulder area in between my shoulder blades. You're basically trying to find a bunch of locations, 2 or 3 locations in that area where they're really tight. Now you're going to keep your elbows in tight so that your elbows are facing forward. That way you're opening up the scapula, the bones in your back. You're widening them out so that you can access the muscles behind them, and that way you're not just putting the ball directly on the bone. And you're going to pretend you're doing kind of like a sit-up where you're bringing your elbows forward and you're basically elongating the back muscles and then shortening them by going into a contraction and then opening up into an arch. And this is supposed to open up those muscles, remove tension, and basically make your back and your spine a little bit more mobile by warming up that area and digging into those tight muscles. If you don't have a peanut, then you can do the next section, which is coming up, which is done with a single ball, and you can always do this on top of doing the peanut exercise we just did. You're going to take the ball and open up your back by lifting your arm in front of you. That's going to make room and move that scapula bone aside so that you can get into those muscles. I find aerialists and acrobats have tight muscles back here. And you want to make sure that each section you pick with the ball underneath it, you only stay for about 45 seconds. If you go past a minute, it just makes the muscles and the nervous system react to that and then want to tighten up and not open for you. It can be awkward finding a location that's comfortable, and if you find that it's too harsh doing this on the floor, you can always take the ball to the wall and then place it in the same position and then control how much weight is going on the ball by pushing into the wall and making that comfortable for you. Now we want to target the pectoralis major muscles and the minor, and so we're going to take the ball with the yoga block against the wall, and we're going to place it right into those tight chest muscles, and then we can roll up and down through that area, side to side. You can also take it over into underneath the armpit as well. There tends to be some tight muscles in there as well, and you can also do some arm movements while you're here, so doing some circular motions with your arm, reaching up to the sky, and opening up the pectoralis major muscles so you can get a little bit deeper. Then we're going to get into the rotator cuff muscles. You're going to lay down, placing one ball on the front half of the armpit and then the second ball on the back half of your body. Then we're going to place a block in to protect your neck from any tension, and you're going to lift that arm up to the sky. You're going to rotate it forward and back. You can also lift it up and down to add some more intensity. Now I'm going to place the ball in my mid-back, and I'm going to give it a little extra bonus massage by picking one side of my back, so just make sure the ball is not on your spine. And you can roll up and down the wall, making sure you add as much pressure as you feel comfortable. Here you can see me moving the ball to the very top of my shoulders, and you can rotate around to make sure it's really targeting those really tight muscles that are happening just behind your neck and into the shoulder. This one's really great if you sit at a computer all day. It really helps to remove the tension, and you can take little breaks while you are working at the computer to just take the ball and do this once in a while, as it does help remove some tension. Now we have some nerve glides where you're tilting your head away from your flexed palm. You're really reaching that hand out as you pull away from it with your head. Other side. And you only want to do about 8 to 12 of these max. Then you're going to change this around, and you're going to tilt your head away from your hand. So I start with my hand and my head together, and then I do the opposite and flex the hand out while turning the head towards the hand, tilting it towards. So here I have 2 cans of chickpeas. You don't need anything too heavy. You can use light weights, 2 pounds maximum. It's just to activate the muscles and get them to warm up even more than they are. We want to get a little bit of strength happening in them and waking up the activator muscles so that they want to function for you. Keep in mind that you want to keep your ribs in and keep your core activated the whole time. And if you want to add this into a full kind of more body workout, you can make it a challenge by going into a lunge and then doing fly arms up to the side. You're also adding a little bit of resistance with gravity by doing this, making it more difficult. And I would do about 8 to 12 of these as well on each side. I cheated on that side and only did 4. You can also do a fly version where you're going into a soft knee bend and you're slightly over on an angle with a flat back and doing flies with your cans of chickpeas or whatever you have in your hands. And it's just one more bonus upper back warm-up exercise to get the activators functioning. And then the final one is dips to the back. So you're getting your triceps to activate by getting your cans together in the air, keeping your elbows forward, and using your triceps to lift and lower the cans while keeping your ribs and your core in, so you're really activating them and letting them not open as you bring the hands down to the back. And then finally a plank. It's always a good idea to hold a super long plank. For this one, I don't hold it very long, but you're welcome to hold it for a longer period of time. And then I'm doing up, up, down, down from my elbow plank all the way up to my front support position. So we have some more exercises for activating and strengthening our upper back. So we have this one where you're placing your fingertips or hands on the back of your head and doing a lift. While doing this, I'm pushing the tops of my toes into the floor by activating my core muscles. That way the focus is strictly on my upper back. This one you're going to lift, open your arms, and then back in and lower. This one you're keeping your ribs and your core in while you're in child's pose. Both arms are out in front of you. You're keeping your head neutral and you want to reach that arm out, so fingertips right out in front of you, and then activate into your shoulder blade and lift and hold. You can hold for up to 5 seconds if you'd like, even longer here, but try to stay on one side and then switch to the other. That way you're tiring out that arm just a little bit to get those arm muscles working for you. These are thoracic liftoffs where you're really focusing on twisting up and then taking your palm off of your head to activate right behind your shoulders. So really making sure your shoulder is in line with your elbow and your hips are over your knees. You're just twisting the upper half of your back, getting that elbow to the ceiling, and then pulling that hand away to feel those muscles activating. And then the other side. We have some swimmers where we're just lifting those arms, really reaching those arms out to the front, keeping my toes digging into the floor, my core strong, so it's just focusing on the upper body, upper back. Then we have some crab dips or tabletop dips, making sure your fingers are facing your heels. It's so important that your elbows are traveling to the back and your fingertips are facing your feet to avoid any elbow injuries. You can always do these on a chair as well. But just lift your pelvis off a little bit and get a couple dips in there to get those triceps fired. For this exercise, you're going to watch out for an arched back. You're going to bend your knees and soften them and press your back against a wall and lift your arms nice and tall, trying to make your arms go all the way up just to your ears or past them. And you want to hold this position. It's a beautiful exercise for getting ready for handstands and maintaining your arms above your ears for any of your inversions in aerial. Then we're going to repeat again and hold for about roughly 20 seconds. Now we're moving into a deep stretch. This is a very good stretch for preparing for chest stands and any other exercise where you're opening up that chest. So you really want to think about placing your feet underneath your hips and reaching your hands nice and tall on the wall and opening up your mid back and upper back on the wall, lifting your chin up and taking deep breaths while you're here. So try to find a position where you're almost just a little uncomfortable and then take some deep breaths, really get them into your chest. And while you're doing that one, making sure that if your hamstrings are feeling a lot of stress, like they're really stretching too far, you can always soften your knees a little bit. And this is just a bonus shoulder stretch here with your hands in front of you in a pike position as well. lot of these exercises are really good for initiating into a bridge from standing. So I have an exercise called Peel the Sticker Off the Wall. It basically is teaching you how to work through your spine, starting with your shoulders and your neck first, activating the bridge. So you're going to start by looking at your fingertips. I cheat on this one, I looked after. But you're going to look at your fingertips and you're going to reach up to the ceiling and elongate through your spine. And the idea is to keep your hips on the wall and just do the upper back. So you're really strengthening and activating your core while you're going through this, and using your leg muscles. Your upper butt should be working here too to hold you up. But you're just trying to target the upper back and shoulder area and finding control through those movements. You can also hold the position once you get there and stay, and then recover by lifting up and over and finding your core. This is another version of the exercise from standing, going towards the wall backwards. So I'm really thinking about standing up nice and tall. You can adjust your distance from the wall as well as your leg width. You're trying to keep your legs underneath your waist, that you're really thinking about not being too wide and putting pressure on your knees or other parts of your body. And then another little fun exercise you can do after is reaching for the back of your calf. And then just reaching back into some fun poses, just playing around with some shapes. This one definitely goes a little bit more into your mid and lower back, but as long as you're really focusing on opening up that shoulder, then you can work on recovering with that arm so that you're really pulling up and on top and using your core. So it's a really good way to get ready for going into a bridge. And then you can do both hands, watch your face on the wall, and do a nice little open shape there as well. And then finally, a fun exercise you can do is a circle bridge, where basically you're just going to go halfway for now, but you're going to place your hand facing outward, so away from your body, and lift up nice and tall by pushing into your heels and lifting your hips to the sky and really pushing strong into your shoulders. So using your upper back and shoulder muscle to really propel you up and over. You don't want to feel any pain in your lower back, so really make sure you're firing just in your lower butt area, so just above where your hamstring attaches to your booty. You want to make sure you're really firing that area as well as pushing into your heels to help with that, and really lifting up and over nice and tall, which can turn into a bridge eventually when you start getting comfortable, rotating through that shoulder and getting that pinky to come inwards. Thank you so much for joining me for the shoulders and upper back mobility exercises. I hope to see you soon in our future videos, and thank you so much for your support.